So my wife and I are very blessed. We have 3 kids. We have 2 boys and a little girl. Buddy mine had 4 boys. He finally had a girl. His first thought was hallelujah. So they named her Hallie. Isn't that sweet? So my daughter's name is Vasectomy. We call her Snippy. Snippy Cho. You keeping score? I gotta stop telling that joke, man. Well, I wrote it when she was little, you know. People see us in public, they go, "You must be vasectomy." And she's like, "I guess, I don't know." Now she's a teenager. Just the other day, she's like, "Oh, thanks, Dad. That creepy old man just called me vasectomy." I'm like, "Well, it's gonna pay for your car. I'd shut up." My boys' names are Jackson and Grant, because we knew they were going to fight. All right, a lot of y'all know nothing about U.S. history, do ya? We thought about Lee and Grant, but Lee's too Korean. Jackson's my oldest. I want all my kids to learn how to drive a stick shift. Anybody out there still drive stick? Still drive a stick? Yeah. Number 1 theft deterrent. Yeah, those punks jump in your car and go, can't, jump out. I got Jackson a 2000 F-250 6-speed diesel 4x4. Yeah, big old truck. You want to figure it out? Stick shift. He can't text and drive. Diesel, he can't sneak out. That's pretty smart, huh? And I was born here. It's a callback. See how I did that? Set it up early, called it back. It's professionally done. Clap, you have kids, middle school, elementary, younger. Clap, you have kids down that age, yeah? You got kids? Yeah, you do, yeah. Y'all have kids right there? How many kids do you have? 2, what are the ages? 8 and 6. Did you know that, sir? Okay. You just kind of look going, yeah. Yeah, boys or girls? Boy and girl, which one's older? Boy, okay, so you got them both. Way to go. All y'all that clap with kids, just raise them, right? Okay? Spank them, pop them. You get home tonight, wake them up and pop them. If you're afraid to, bring them by here, I'll pop them for you. I'm over, I'm gonna snap, you'll read about me. You know what happened to Henry Cho? He got arrested. He spanked 25 kids in Walmart. Clap, you got spanked growing up. I just want to hear who out there got spanked. Just tell me who got spanked. Huh? Everybody okay?
Yeah!
Yeah, pop your kids. We protect them too much. We're guilty too. Car seats I'll give you 100%. But like bicycle helmets, come on. Bobby can't ride a bike, that's Bobby's fault. Clap, you never wore a helmet. Who never wore a helmet out there? We're okay. See, Bobby ain't here because Bobby ain't supposed to be here. That's nature's way. That's why we have so many stupid people nowadays are wearing helmets. We have no way to thin the herd. That's a joke, people. I don't wish any harm on any child unless he can't ride a bike. It's a joke, okay? I'm gonna start traveling with a poster that says Henry Cho Comedy Show. So when I say something, y'all go, ooh, and just point. It's comedy. Your kids play sports? Yes, what do they play? Soccer. Ooh. Yeah. Soccer. Okay, that counts. No, soccer's a sport. It is. Sports aren't the same for kids, though. I used to coach Jackson's baseball and basketball teams. They never won a game, but he has 7 trophies. Just for showing up. I never get that last season. They shipped the trophies to me. I told my wife I'm not going to give them out. She goes, you have to. I goes, no. Somebody's put a stop to this. They got beat that last game 18-2. They didn't care. They just lined up for their trophies. They're like, hey, Coach Cho, where's our trophies? I go, you know what? You don't get one this year. Why not? Well, because you're a loser. Now put your helmet on and get out of here. Go get your snack. Who started snacks? I'd have a snack my entire childhood. Pre-game, halftime, post-game. Orange slices, gotta have orange slices. There's a snack list. I'll never get my first snack list experience. Very first practice we ever had, I told all the moms we're not having snacks. This mom ran me down in the parking lot. We have to have snacks. Gonna have a snack list. Like, we're not having snacks, so we have to have snacks. See, Jeremy can't play a whole game without a snack. Jeremy needs a snack, or Jeremy can't play the whole game. I'm like, well, Jeremy's not that good. Guarantee you he'll never play a whole game. How about that? Why don't y'all eat at home and come late? We're keeping score, too. You want to start a kid's sports and snacks? You want to start that whole thing? Soccer. There was no snacks but soccer. They got to have them for some reason. I'll never get my first soccer game. Grant, my son, played soccer his entire life, you know. But my very first soccer game, youth soccer game, you know, he's young. I'm standing the very first game. I don't even know what's going on. This dad next to me starts yelling at his son, Justin! Justin! That was a good idea! I'm kind of new here. What was a good idea? Well, he kicked it over there, had his teammate Ben there, then a good pass. Teammate wasn't there. Bad idea. Imagine point guard doing that, come dribbling down, just, aw, man. See, if you'd have been there, that's a good idea. Soccer fans, America, we're never going to embrace soccer like the rest of the world. We're not. We're not. We're just not. They don't score enough. Who wants the World Cup?
Yeah!
Exactly. 7 people, maybe. You don't score enough. You know, I watched the game the other day. It was 0-0. No goals. Now, I saw a lot of good ideas. I will tell you this, sir. I've never spanked my daughter. I've never spanked her. If she does something wrong, I just spank one of the boys. They're like, what was that? I should have been watching her. My boys do not get the daddy-daughter thing. They don't get it. They're like, Dad, you spoil her rotten. I go, yep, sure do. She gets anything she wants. I go, yep, sure does. She wants a pony. She's probably going to get a pony. I go, yeah, I'm going to get her a pony. They're like, can we get a new Xbox? I go, no, man, I got to save money for a pony. What are you, crazy? Stop eating my groceries. Get out of my house.
Any Asian people in the crowd? Clap if you're Asian. Clap. I said clap. Clap if you're Asian. I want to hear. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. All at one table. Is there another one? 5. Okay. I got 5. All right. That's pretty much my quota. Thanks for representing. Appreciate it. Asian people don't come to my shows. They don't. Because I was supposed to be a doctor. Or play the cello. One of the two. So. This is my 37th year doing stand-up. And when I started, thank you. When I started, I was the only Asian comedian, so Asian kids weren't allowed to watch me, because God forbid, you know. Even my own cousins weren't allowed to watch me on TV, because God forbid they do something like this. So thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. So there was some marketing research done. Me and 5 of my comedian pals a few years ago, they did research on our target market. And my audience is 92% white and 0.01% Asian. So you nailed it. What nationality are you? Taiwanese. Taiwanese. Vietnamese. Chinese. Taiwanese, okay. I couldn't tell, so. Well, I mean, you look alike. What am I going to do? What? Maybe that's why they don't show up. I don't know. These are jokes, okay? I'm kidding. They're laughing. It's fine. My driver's license says I'm white. Knoxville, Tennessee, 16 years old. I go through the whole process. I get to the end. There's only 2 boxes you can check. And the lady looks up and goes, well, you ain't black. So I've been white since I was 16. Still says I'm white. Guys at the airport, they don't know what to do. So they're like, what, white? No, what? I go, dude, there are only 2 boxes. Well, you ain't black.
So my wife and I are very blessed. We have 3 kids. We have 2 boys and a little girl. Buddy of mine had 4 boys. He finally had a girl. His first thought was hallelujah. So they named her Hallie. Isn't that sweet? So my daughter's name is Vasectomy. We call her Snippy. Snippy Cho. You keeping score? I gotta stop telling that joke, man. Well, I wrote it when she was little, you know. People see us in public, they go, you must be vasectomy. And she's like, I guess, I don't know. Now she's a teenager. Just the other day, she's like, oh, thanks, Dad. That creepy old man just called me vasectomy. I'm like, well, it's gonna pay for your car. I'd shut up. My boys' names are Jackson and Grant, because we knew they were going to fight. All right, a lot of y'all know nothing about U.S. history, do ya? We thought about Lee and Grant, but Lee's too Korean. Jackson's my oldest. I want all my kids to learn how to drive a stick shift. Anybody out there still drive stick? Still drive a stick? Yeah. Number 1 theft deterrent. Yeah, those punks jump in your car and go, can't jump out. I got Jackson a 2000 F-250 6-speed diesel 4x4. Yeah, big old truck. You want to figure it out? Stick shift. He can't text and drive. Diesel. He can't sneak out. That's pretty smart, huh? And I was born here.
Welcome to Relation Tales. Hit that like button and subscribe. Relation Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. Tell us in the comments where across the globe you're watching from. We genuinely want to connect with you there. Let's get started. I can still picture the expression she wore that morning. Steady, unconcerned, and glowing in that careless manner only a person concealing something manages. Her name is Emily Carter, and she once belonged to me.
Once.
I stood in the kitchen we shared, sleeves pushed up, preparing breakfast exactly as I always had. 2 scrambled eggs, whole wheat toast, plus the caramel latte she preferred. She came down the stairs, eyes locked on her phone, hardly looking at me at all. Morning, I said, pushing the cup across to her. She answered softly, attention fixed on the screen. Thanks, babe. I noticed a slight curve of a smile on her mouth, yet it never reached her eyes. Distance lived in it, as though she already existed somewhere far away. Over the previous months, everything had slipped. Our talks had narrowed to practical matters, bills, work hours, shopping lists. The laughter, the playful jabs, the late-night conversations about the future, all vanished, replaced by something quieter and emptier. Still, I kept trying. God knows I did. I put in long days overseeing construction sites. Came home exhausted, yet resolved to hold us together. But each time I reached toward her, she withdrew a fraction further. That morning her phone vibrated once more. She angled the screen just enough that I couldn't glimpse it. That tiny gesture, swift, rehearsed, guarded, spoke louder than any admission ever would. "Everything all right?" I asked, pretending to wash a mug so I could study her reflection in the glass. She paused, then gave me that effortless smile she used whenever she needed me to question my own instincts. "Yeah, just the girls organizing a weekend getaway. Don't worry, nothing wild." I nodded, though my chest constricted. A weekend getaway? She had used those exact words before. Once ahead of the Miami conference. Another time before the client dinner in New Orleans. Both times, she returned carrying the scent of perfume that did not belong to her. That morning, as she brushed a kiss against my cheek and left, something inside me locked into place. That quiet movement from pain into clarity. Love had kept me sightless, but patterns force you to notice. Hours afterward, I sat at my office desk, blueprints spread out, yet my thoughts were far from them. I felt no anger. Not yet. I examined her actions the way an architect studies fractures in a foundation. Tiny, yet hazardous. She messaged me around noon. "Hey, don't stress. It's only an innocent trip with the girls. I'll be back soon." It should have landed harmlessly. But after a decade of loving someone, you recognize when the tone shifts, when the warmth drains away and strategy takes its place. So I stayed quiet. I sent nothing back. I waited. And an hour later, the first error appeared. Not from her, but from the shared cloud backup. A photo notification arrived for both of us. She had just captured it. Her smile stretched wide, careless, self-assured. The caption said, "Can't wait to finally relax." Yet the people behind her were not her friends. One man stood at the edge of the frame, carefully avoiding the lens. Kevin Morales, the coworker she had once insisted was like a brother. I studied that image for a long while. The coffee on my desk grew cold. Every memory struck like a hammer. The laughter during late-night calls. The dinners canceled at the last moment. The quiet guilt she believed she had concealed. And that was the instant I understood what needed to happen. I would not shout. I would not make accusations. I would simply remind her of the person she had betrayed and the kind of man she had underestimated. I lifted my phone, thumb paused above the keys, and sent a single message, brief, cutting, exact. "Hope you and Kevin enjoy the island." It was precise, clean, and within seconds the status turned red. I could almost picture her face, the panic flooding her chest, the sudden knowledge that I knew. By the time her flight touched down, I understood she would break, because guilt possesses one fatal flaw. It cannot survive exposure. And while I leaned back in my chair looking out the office window, by the time her plane set down in the Bahamas, I knew my words had already exploded like a quiet bomb inside her pocket. While she likely stood in the customs line, forcing a smile through nerves. My phone vibrated with the first rush of her panic. "Emily." "Hey, what is that supposed to mean, Emily? Are you kidding? Why would you say that?" "Emily Daniel, please reply." I did not. I simply left those messages sitting there unread, unanswered, because silence can become the loudest answer of all. Meanwhile, I moved through the day as though nothing had changed. I poured another coffee, corrected a client site plan, even went for a run after lunch. Yet inside, I carried a strange stillness. Not satisfaction yet, but a steady power I had not felt in months. For so long, she had shaped the story with half-truths and gentle lies. Now the positions had reversed. Toward evening, I sat on the couch scrolling when another photo notification arrived from her cloud. My heart stayed steady this time. I simply watched it load slowly, pixel by pixel. Emily in a floral sundress, sunglasses resting on her head, standing at the edge of a pool. Behind her, Kevin, shirt open, pretending to check his phone. His reflection caught perfectly in the glass door behind them. They believed they were clever. They were not. I saved the image quietly, then leaned back with a faint, humorless smile. She still had not grasped the error that would undo everything. You see, the firm she worked for, Horizon Travel Group, maintained strict rules about relationships inside the office. Kevin was her direct supervisor. If human resources ever viewed that photo, it would not merely cost her the position. It would destroy his entire career. And the finest part, I did not need to move a muscle. I understood how guilt operates. It consumes people from within until they ruin themselves trying to repair the damage. I set the phone aside, poured a glass of whiskey, and switched on the television. Not to distract myself, but to savor the quiet that follows betrayal. Somewhere across the water, Emily was discovering that her perfect girls trip had become a countdown. Meanwhile, inside that resort lobby thousands of miles distant, Emily's world began to collapse. She stood there, phone in hand, sweat forming under her collar despite the cool island air. "You okay?" Kevin asked, adjusting his sunglasses. "Yeah," she lied, voice unsteady. "Just something with Daniel." "Daniel, he's fine, right?" She forced a smile. "Yeah, he's fine. He knows." Kevin frowned. "Knows what?" She gave no answer. Her phone vibrated again. Not from me, but from her coworker Maya, a woman who reported directly to Kevin. "Hey, are you with Kevin right now? HR has been asking questions." Emily's stomach fell. Her pulse raced. She looked up at Kevin with eyes full of panic. "We need to talk right now." But Kevin only rolled his eyes, unaware his career was already coming apart. "Relax, Em. He's just jealous. Let him sit with it." She shook her head. "You don't get it. He sent me a message. He knows we're here. He named the island." Kevin froze. How could he know? Then the realization struck. The cloud backup, the photos, delete everything. He hissed, grabbing her phone. But it was already too late. I had already saved the evidence. Back home, I sat in my office, watching the last light fade through the blinds. Our wedding photo still hung on the wall. Emily in her white dress. Me holding her hand. Both of us smiling as though nothing could touch us. I left it there. I wanted to look at it and remember what honesty had looked like before she traded it for cheap affection and island drinks. That night I wrote an email, not to her, not to Kevin, but to Linda Harris, head of human resources at Horizon Travel Group. Subject: concern regarding employee conduct. Body: Dear Miss Harris, I recently came across images that appear to show a serious violation of company policy involving two of your employees, Emily Carter and Kevin Morales. Given Kevin's role, I believe you will consider this important. Attached is the relevant material. Regards, Daniel Carter. I needed no threats or public scenes. Truth alone was sufficient. After I pressed send, I laid the phone face down, leaned back, and exhaled. Anger no longer lived in me. I was finished being her fool. By the time Emily reached the suite, that night her world had flipped completely. Messages poured in from Linda, from coworkers, even from Kevin's manager. HR had arranged an emergency review call for the following morning. Kevin paced the room muttering curses under his breath. "This is bad, Em. Really bad." Her voice broke. "He wouldn't do this. Daniel isn't like that." Kevin shot her a hard look. "You certain about that?" She sank onto the edge of the bed, phone shaking in her hand. For the first time in a long while, she understood what I had seen for months. The price of her games. Then her phone buzzed once more. "It was me. You should probably head home. I already canceled your company card." She froze. Then another message arrived. A flight itinerary, a one-way ticket reserved in her name. Back to Florida. Her knees weakened. "You bought me a ticket home," she whispered. Kevin gave a dry laugh. "Guess paradise is finished." She offered no argument. She simply sat trembling, staring at the glow of her phone while her perfect escape fell apart before her eyes. Back home, I stood by the window, city lights flickering outside. The phone rang once, her number. I did not answer. It rang again, then again. On the fifth attempt, I finally picked up, not to soothe her, but to let her hear the silence she herself had created. "Daniel," she said, voice cracking. "Please just talk to me. I made a mistake. I'm coming home." I said nothing. Then, quietly before ending the call, I whispered, "I know." And just like that, the line went silent along with every lie she had ever spoken to me. The sound of her suitcase, wheels rolling across the driveway, was the sound of a conclusion. I heard it from my office window. That desperate rhythm of someone returning home, not to be welcomed, but to plead. Emily stepped out of the cab, wearing the same sundress from the photo. It no longer suggested freedom. It suggested shame. Her tan had faded into pale anxiety. Her hair was messy, her smile gone. She held her phone as though it were a lifeline, though she already knew the connection had been severed. I did not go to the door. I let her stand there for a full minute staring at the house she once called her kingdom. Then slowly I opened it. Daniel. Her voice broke. Please. I looked at her the way a stranger looks at someone asking for directions. You're back early. She swallowed hard. Can we talk, please? You have to let me explain. I stepped aside just enough for her to enter. The house smelled of lemon polish and quiet determination. She glanced around. Her favorite piece of art was gone, her framed photographs replaced by blank walls. Her eyes landed on the coffee table, where her wedding ring rested neatly beside a stack of papers. Is that? I nodded. Divorce papers. I figured you'd want a head start on unpacking. She blinked rapidly, struggling to stay composed. Daniel, it wasn't what you think. I interrupted her gently, yet coldly. Then tell me, Emily, do I not think that you flew out with Kevin? Do I not think you smiled for photographs and lied to my face for months? Which part am I misunderstanding? She covered her mouth, trembling. I made a mistake, she whispered. I thought I needed excitement. I thought maybe you had stopped caring. That sentence nearly made me laugh. Stopped caring. I had built an entire life around her. Every late night, every plan, every dream, she was inside it. And she traded it for an adrenaline rush and hotel cocktails. I took one step closer. My voice remained calm, yet sharp enough to cut. You wanted excitement, Emily. You received it. Your company certainly found those photos thrilling. Her face drained of color. You didn't. I did. I crossed my arms. Kevin's career is finished. They have already suspended him pending investigation. You're finished too. Maybe next time you'll read the company code of conduct before booking a romantic escape. She dropped onto the couch, shaking. Daniel, please. You can't destroy my career like this. It was one mistake. I still love you. I stared at the woman I once protected with everything I had and understood something clearly. Love does not disappear. It simply changes form. Mine had become something colder and wiser. I don't want revenge, I said quietly. I want peace. And peace begins the moment lies stop. Her lip trembled. So that's it. You're finished with me. I was finished the moment you decided someone else was worth risking us for. She sobbed quietly, face in her hands. I offered no comfort. I had done that too many times already. Instead, I picked up the divorce papers, placed a pen on the table, and said, You'll find your belongings already packed. The house is mine now. You can stay with your parents until you decide your next step. Emily nodded weakly, tears tracking down her cheeks. For the first time, she witnessed what true loss actually looked like. Not rage, not shouting, but indifference. As she rose to leave, she whispered, You'll regret this. I smiled faintly. No, Emily. You will. She turned and walked out. The soft click of the door closed a chapter no one ever planned to reopen. For a long moment, I stood in the quiet. No raised voices, no heartbreak left to bleed, only silence. And inside that silence, I finally felt something I had not known in years. Freedom. 2 months passed before I saw her again. By then the seasons had changed. The Florida heat softened into late autumn warmth. The air felt lighter. My house felt larger. My mornings, once filled with quiet resentment, now carried a calm I had not known for years. I rebuilt my life piece by piece. Started small, fixing the broken porch light she had always complained about, repainting the office, replacing her floral curtains with open blinds that let sunlight stream in. I began running again at sunrise, joined a local architecture firm, and met people who reminded me that not every smile conceals a lie. For the first time in a long while, I was no longer merely existing. I was living. Then one evening, as I left a meeting, I saw her standing near the parking lot. Emily looked smaller than I remembered. Her once confident posture had vanished. She held her purse, as though it were the only thing keeping her upright. Daniel, she called softly, voice trembling. I hesitated, yet did not walk away. Emily. She swallowed, eyes shining. I wanted to see you. I'm sorry for everything. I mean it. I studied her face. No makeup, dark circles. Exhaustion carved into her expression. This was not the woman who once flirted with danger. This was someone who had been burned by it. She continued, voice barely steady. I lost everything, Daniel. My job, my reputation. Kevin left the company and disappeared. My parents will not even speak to me. I just needed to tell you. She paused, tears sliding down her cheeks. You did not deserve what I did. For a moment, a part of me pitied her. She looked like someone standing amid the ruins of her own decisions. But pity is not the same as forgiveness. Emily, I said quietly, I spent years trying to make you feel loved. Even when you stopped trying, you did not merely lie to me. You destroyed the version of me that trusted without question. But I also have to thank you. She blinked. Thank me. Yes, I said, stepping closer, yet keeping my tone even. Because losing you taught me what real peace feels like. I no longer wake up checking someone else's phone. I no longer chase love that requires constant convincing. Her lips trembled. So you're happy now? I exhaled. I'm honest now. She nodded, wiping her tears. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed to hear you say something. Anything. I looked her in the eye and spoke the words I had rehearsed quietly in my mind, yet never said aloud. I forgive you, but not for you. For me. She broke down, covering her face with both hands, whispering, I'm sorry, again and again until her voice faded into the night air. I did not remain to watch her fall apart. I simply walked away, leaving her standing beneath the flickering parking lot lights. The same way she once left me alone inside a house filled with lies. That night, back home, I poured myself a cup of coffee and sat on the porch. The world was quiet again, peaceful. I thought about how betrayal does not end a story. It merely changes its direction. Somewhere out there, Emily was facing the echoes of her choices. And me, I was no longer bitter. I had rebuilt, evolved, and discovered something far stronger than revenge. Closure. As the wind moved through the trees and the porch light glowed softly against the evening sky, I whispered one final time to the ghost of our past. You were my lesson, not my loss. And for the first time I smiled. Not because I had won, but because I had finally let